So this video is going to be about why developers are usually good guys, because I like to make videos like this every now and then. But before we do that, I want to draw attention back to everyone's favorite game, Mission Escape from Island. I got this wonderful Twitter post from @FPSDB who pointed out that one of the characters that appears in Mission Escape from Island in the top left corner is in fact from Red Alert 3. So that brings the entire tally of games that Mission Escape from Island has infringed on the copyrights of up to games from Ubisoft, EA, Bethesda, and not to mention all the musical soundtracks that the game also uses. Good job, Steam. I'm so glad this is still on your platform and House Party isn't. That makes total sense, and one of those is clearly worse than the other. So as much as I want to talk about Mission Escape from Island a hell of a lot more, I'm going to talk about some positive things in the industry today, because that's a thing that we need to do more often. So over the last few days, I've covered a few different controversial topics on my channel. The most notable of those being the removal of House Party from Steam recently due to a variety of complaints about the content in the game. Now I will say it once again, I don't have a problem with sex in video games, and this video isn't about my opinion on House Party. If you want my opinion on House Party, I've made 2 other videos about the game that you can go and see for yourself. That being said, the major topics in my last video were that House Party was A, removed from Steam, and B, doesn't really adhere to the terms and service currently on the platform. Since then, I've been in contact with the developer of House Party, Bobby, and I had a very lengthy conversation with him that went really well. And that might surprise you, considering that most video game conversations usually end up with saying that you bang someone's mom. But no, we actually ended up talking about a variety of different topics, including the inclusion of the sexual content in the game, as well as the copyright and trademark infringement used by a variety of logos in that version of House Party. I'm not going to show you the entire conversation because Bobby is still in talks with Valve, and I don't want to potentially hinder anything that he is talking with the company about, but I will go over the general things we talked about and just give my opinion on why it went really well and why that's a very good thing. So first of all, Bobby did address the use of trademarked logos in the game and confirmed that he is in the process of removing them, so that's a really good thing. And secondly, we mostly talked about the idea that Steam doesn't have a proper rule system for sex or adult content in games, and it probably needs to get one really soon. Because, you know, that's been my stance on the thing since the beginning. One of the other major things he talked about is that the game was on Steam for more than a month and no one really did anything about it until a bunch of complaints started rolling in. So it seems like the Steam curation is kind of at fault for a large portion of what happened with the game. I'm not going to say that the game should be on Steam right now, because as it stands, it still does violate Rule 2 of the Steam Developer Rules and Guidelines, but at the same time, it was allowed on the platform for an extended period, and it's kind of odd that it took so long for them to address it. And then we also talked about the fact that there's plenty of other games on Steam that feature adult content in them, albeit maybe not to the extent that House Party did, but they definitely exist. And we came to a good agreement that Steam needs to update their policy and possibly even put in a separate area for games that include heavy adult content. Because we all know there's nothing wrong with adult content, even ones that might be in poor taste, you just have to properly age-gate it. He also briefly talked about updates for the game that might be forthcoming, and I don't really want to spoil any of those because those might not be public information yet, so we're just going to leave it at that. And again, the point of this isn't to delve into whether House Party is a good game or a bad game or whatever my opinion is on it. The point of the matter is to talk about why this is a good thing when people can talk about stuff, especially when they don't necessarily agree on everything. And that was very much the case with me and Bobby. I mean, I don't agree with everything he said, but at the same time, we had a very good conversation. We came to many great compromises, and overall, we do agree on the scenario as a whole, even if we fall on slightly different parts of it. And that's a really good thing to do as a developer and as a critic. If you can talk to people properly, then everyone ends up really happy. I'd rather not get into shouting contests with people, which is why I messaged him privately about it and wanted to talk to him. He responded with some very well thought out, really great thoughts, and I completely appreciate that, and I wish more people would end up doing that. So as far as I'm concerned, the developer of House Party has earned a lot more respect from me, and seriously, that's a really good job. I hope the game gets back on Steam in some capacity, albeit I hope Steam updates their rules and guidelines first and foremost. So earlier that day, I received a friend request from the developer of Breach of Contract Online. If you follow my channel at all, you know that I've been covering that game extensively. By extensively, I mean 2 videos, but still, that's extensive for me. To be honest, I was a little bit more worried about this one. I expected it to become a really bad scenario very quickly, and I felt like it was kind of devolving into that. But to my delight, the developer of that game has also been very courteous to me about it, and that was a very nice surprise. So they sent me a message and basically thanked me for, reviewing their game properly, writing out an entire Steam review, and covering it as much as I did, and offering, in most cases, fair and constructive criticism. Now, while in every respect I still stand by everything I said about that game, at the same time I do have to show a little bit of respect for the developer contacting me to not only say that, but to also offer me updates that they're going to be implementing into the game to remove things like copyright infringing music tracks, as well as changing up that one level that was Shipment from Call of Duty 4. They're also going to be adding in more content to the game and are trying to get Valve to agree to a price drop. Apparently dropping prices on Steam is a lot harder than a lot of people think it is, and he said that he's contacted them a couple times about it, but they have yet to get back to him. Then I talked to a couple other developers that I know that are on my friends list on Steam, and they basically confirmed it can take up to a week for that price drop to really take effect. In that time, he has been working on adding in some extra levels and some more content to the game, as well as making sure that it doesn't violate any trademarks or copyrights. And while by no means do I think it's a good game or it's going to be that much better because of it, I can at least respect that they're making some sort of semblance of an effort into making their game a better product. And that's a really good thing. I do appreciate when developers talk to me about the stuff that they're changing, the stuff that they're trying to update, because it shows that they do care about their game in some way, shape, or form. So props to you as well. I don't know how well your game's gonna do. It's got a lot of negative press already, and there's no one playing it, but if you can make something out of it, then by all means, I hope that your future career in game development goes really well, because I don't want to ruin anyone's life unless they completely show utter disregard for the law. I do in fact like working with developers. Some of the best conversations I've ever had have been with game developers, even from games that I don't necessarily like. I had a similar conversation with the developer of Battle Riders in the past as well, a game that I reviewed fairly negatively, and it actually impacted the sales of the game after I wrote that review, so, it's good when developers talk to you, because maybe that situation can be rectified in a way that benefits everyone. And that's what I really want people to take away from this video, whether you're a game developer, a YouTuber, some other type of critic, or just someone who plays video games. Doesn't matter what, just always let people, talk to you, and let them talk to you like an adult. Treat everyone with respect, and then everything can be handled, well. This isn't the first time, and it's not the last time I'm going to make a video like this, but I feel the need to point it out every time it happens, because no one else is doing it, it seems. So I'm going to take it on myself to be that one stand-up guy, and hopefully you all like me a little more now. I'm kidding, it's not the only reason why I'm doing it. I am PattyJack, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. I still suck at Super Cloud Built, like I'm terrible. I realize I'm terrible. The game's good though, I'm just terrible.